Thank you to Nintendo of America for providing me the game to make this review possible. Donkey Kong is back in what could be his greatest adventure yet in a 3D adventure that is developed by 1UP Studio and published by Nintendo. With Donkey Kong not really having a 3D platformer since the days of Nintendo 64, Nintendo decided that the time is right to give our banana-loving friend more time in the spotlight after his successful box office run in the Super Mario Bros. Movie. However, was this game the correct route to go instead of a launch window 3D Mario game, or did they choose the wrong mascot in this selection process? Only one way to find out, so let's go Ape! Gameplay. Our boy Donkey Kong has been through a ton since the 1980s, from making his gaming debut in the arcades back in 1981, which at the time was a big deal due to it not only being one of the more complex titles at the time, but also being one of the few and rare arcade titles to feature multiple stages, only being predated by titles like Phoenix in the early 80s, alongside another game releasing in the same year as DK Arcade called Gorf. But our tie-wearing friend wasn't done there, because with success under his belt, he decided, you know what? I'm just gonna go sell 8 million copies on the Game & Watch, get licensed to play on the Atari 2600, which at that current time was the longest running console of all time, having a lifespan that lasted from 1977 all the way to 1992, then finally landing on the iconic original Nintendo. Those successful and humble beginnings then moved their way onto the Super Nintendo with some of the best platformers, not only on the Super Nintendo, but in general of all time with the Donkey Kong series, which blended platforming, level design, and music to near perfection levels. Following their success, we then got his first true 3D platformer in the form of DK64, which, depending on who you talk to, will either love it or hate it. I personally don't mind it, but what the heck, Nintendo? The banana situation was definitely an annoyance. Sure, it's awesome to have multiple playable characters, but why do I gotta go all the way back to switch to a character to pick one up based off of a designated color? Let me swap characters on the fly and immediately. Other Nintendo 64 games did it. What were you thinking? Gripes aside, little did we know, that was the last time for the next 26 years that we would be receiving a 3D platformer from the DK franchise. Yikes, that's like me waiting for another season of Hajime no Ippo. Just paint my face now and call me a clown. I mean, we got some awesome 2D platformers in its place, like Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze, but still, time passed by with other franchises like Kirby even getting his own pure 3D platformer over our ape friend. Which our little bio deserved it, but still, where's the love for good old Donkey Kong? It's not like he's not beloved too. Like, come on Nintendo, don't do this to us. The fan base loves DK. Like, seriously. Our love is stronger than a golden banana.
Our love is stronger than a golden banana. Stronger than a golden banana.
Uh-oh. Okay, we're not referencing the animated series. That's low barrel. All I'm saying is that we just want to go home, and home is where DK is. So come on, Eddie, let me go back to my home. Let me put things back where they belong. But enough of history. Now arriving in 2025, we finally have the long-awaited 3D adventure that has eluded us for so long. Mixing several different titles together with the open area exploration of titles like Breath of the Wild, with a if you see it go to it scenario, creativity and level designs of games like Super Mario Odyssey, which set the standard for 3D platformers, the music level and catchiness of Splatoon, the cuteness of Kirby, and blending all those in with the complete and utter powerful destructive nature of Marvel character the Hulk, set the stage for either a complete mess of a game or one of the more unique games of this generation. So which side does it land on? Well, that depends on you. If you love collectathons, a mile-a-minute gameplay with new ideas constantly being thrown at you, then it easily falls in with being one of the more unique games this generation, and giving a brand new, fresh outlook on the legacy Nintendo constantly leaves behind in its wake with 3D platformers, which usually only happens with Mario. But now it's DK's time to shine. Following up a juggernaut like Mario Odyssey is no easy task, that's for sure. But honestly, placing Donkey Kong in the lead role spot instead of Mario and giving him a destruction mechanic actually works really well, and not only gives DK a fresh feeling that hasn't been felt since his Super Nintendo days, but also puts him on the same level as brand mascot Mario himself due to the game's creativity and charm that it brings in this planet core journey alongside young Pauline. Hold up, it's on the same level of Super Mario Odyssey, you ask yourself? And to that I say yes, yes it is, and it might actually be better than Odyssey was in specifics regarding music, level design, and power-ups, which we will get into very soon, trust me, because I have some things to say. Unlike these random NPCs in the game who just mutter gibberish like they're straight out of a Rare game, which makes me just have to stand there awkwardly and smile like I'm Jackie Chan in Rush Hour. Adding Pauline to the mix also extends this title's cuteness level by combining both Donkey Kong's new level of expressiveness alongside her sassy attitude and spunky personality, and mixing them together sort of reminds you of Sully and Boo from Monsters, Inc., only with a lot more singing and catchy tunes. By using Pauline's power of her singing and voice to open secret passages for mini-games, obstacles, and activate Bananza powers, she blends well with the environment mechanics of DK that allows him to smash and roll through each environment and leaving nothing but destruction in his way due to every environment literally being your playground to destroy and smash to bits. If you build it, they will come. More like if they build it, we destroy everything and everyone! Leave no stone unturned! Literally. Say, that's a nice shop. Well, it was! Bam! Smash! Pow! Donkey Kong Bananza, as stated earlier, is a game like Breath of the Wild in the sense that the game wants you to explore and does not want you to ever go in a linear path due to the amount of collectibles and treasures there is to find in each sandbox-style layer you encounter as you move further down into the planet's core. No matter which direction you decide to take, whether it be spending 10 minutes digging and smashing through the ground, smashing into walls in front of you, climbing up structures to get a higher view advantage, you will find and obtain rewards like gold nuggets that act both as currency to buy items from the stuff shop, to buy balloons that give you a helping hand by floating you back to the surface should you fall off a ledge, apple juice that replenishes your heart should you die, etc, etc. And alongside the gold nuggets, you will also find tons and tons of bananas, appropriately named Banandium gems. These gems are key in expanding the game further when collecting 5 total. You will then gain a skill point, which is used to further grow your skill tree. Yes, you heard that correct. A Donkey Kong game has a skill tree, which is pretty awesome. Collecting these dang Banandium gems are pretty addicting because you can literally find them anywhere, even when not looking for them. You can just be walking around smashing stuff just to farm some gold nuggets, and one is just sitting there like, oh, sup, yo?
Excited. Excited.
While some may just be out in the open ready to be grabbed, others may take a fair bit of thought on how to get to as they float on moving platforms over an ocean, hover in the air, or station in hard-to-reach places that make you think of how you approach getting to them in the first place. But they're all worth it because by collecting these gems and upgrading your skill tree, you're able to raise DK's destruction power to destroy terrain easier, raise your heart meter, gain new skills like better sonar level that makes it easier to detect items that are hidden, jump and spin attack, better surfing with terrain for faster movement speed, upgrades for each Bananza power up that allows for longer Bananza time, stronger attack, longer flying ability with Ostrich, faster charger speeds with Zebra, etc. There's an absolute ton and even over 400 Banandium gems collected. My skill tree is barely only half completed. The more you play and explore, you realize more and more that, yeah, this definitely was made by the Mario Odyssey team, because the hits, the secrets, the unlockables, the fun just keeps on coming, and exploration just feels so varied and rewarding that you'll start playing and before you realize it, you've played for 5 hours straight. Speaking of Banandium gems and gold nuggets, you remember how your parents always told you money doesn't grow on trees when you were growing up? Well, yeah, joke's on them because look, literally money growing on trees. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Moving on. Your adventure on Donkey Kong Bananza begins in Ingot Isle, where Pauline, who originally starts off as a rock named Odd Rock before she is rescued and set free by Donkey Kong's enthusiastic chest pounding and then breaks out into a huge song and dance number. Once she's free, you now plunge into the planet's depths in order to reach the planet's core so that you may make a wish before the evil Void Company does. But something confuses both DK and Pauline, because VoidCon keeps wanting to kidnap Pauline back in order to use her powers, which is her singing power. But why? Honestly, while Pauline's singing is awesome, I'm more intrigued by DK's whistling when you're standing idling singing. I don't know why, but when I see him whistle, I just imagine the Andy Griffith song. Once you've gotten your objective from the Elder Kong and start heading to the planet's core, as stated earlier, you will now move freely through each destructible environment that lets you pummel through rock, sand, mud, stone, ice, steel, and more as you hunt for treasures like the previously mentioned Banandium gems, as well as Banandium chips that let you purchase Banandium gems from item shops, much like how you could buy moons in Mario Odyssey, and even find fossils hidden around each map that allow you to purchase new clothes for both DK and Pauline, all of which pertain to the main game by offering their own unique set of stats such as swimming faster, longer Bananza time, longer sonar range, resistance to damage, and so on. Due to the compact levels and intricate way each level layer are designed, there's always something to seek out, whether you're looking for gems, fossils, or just experimenting with the levels to see how far you can reach in the depths of destroying the world. There's enough content to be found that it can make a 6-hour play session fly by like it's only been 1 hour. Trust me, it happened to me my first night of playing when I received the game. I literally started up the game at like 11 p.m. and I was like, I'll just play till 1 a.m. or so, keep it conservative. By the time I was done for the night, the sun was up and I was like, what year is it? Because I had no clue I was playing for that long at all. Like, what the heck? Yeah! Again, I want to hammer home how purposeful exploration in this game feels. It never feels like traveling around just to do so, like so many other open world or sandbox style games use to artificially extend their game's playtime. Instead, it ensures that no single player will have the same experience or skill tree as another person as you unlock his skill set. Pauline is also useful as well, definitely way more than Baby Mario was in Yoshi's Island, because here, especially in the larger map layers, such as the first main oceanic one you come across, it feels like the size of Bowser's Fury map, but given 3 separate layers, all of which are just as open and filled with secrets as the other. She, referring again to Pauline, is pivotal to getting around these stages, as her singing is key to unlocking doors to reveal challenge modes to find 3 bananas, 1 banana, or even destroying purple void objects, so you may destroy the target it's hiding so that you can clean the area of all purple void chaos. However, her biggest skill allows her to sing and trigger a Donkey Kong transformation into a Bananza power-up. Enraged Kong form, zebra, elephant, and even an ostrich form that can fly and poop out exploding eggs. Wait, an ostrich can fly? They fly now? They fly now. These forms are also more than just cosmetics and cool power-ups as well, and they also help you get around the vast maps by using Kong Bananza to smash through heavier barriers that normal Kong can't make it through. Zebra allows you to dash over thin ice and snow bridges before they crumble to the ground and do a dash speed that sends your foes flying. Ostrich allows you to hit wind gusts to fly into the air and then glide over a short distance to reach high areas in the sky or make a long leap that you normally wouldn't be able to do with any other versions of Kong, alongside being able to poop egg bombs down onto enemies or objects below after upgrading your skill tree for the power-up. Because yes, even Bananza power-ups have their own skill trees. These forms are also used to their fullest potential by being used for specific banana challenges littered across the world that require you to master how they play and even must be used in major boss battles as well. A specific case being one of the fights against the Void King, where you must use your elephant Bananza to suck up material with your trunk and form into a solid object in order to use it as a projectile. This makes each Bananza power-up feel more strategic and in-depth than if they were just there to look cool or to offer minor additions to the game. But alright, we get it. Banandium gems raise skill points, Banandium chips to purchase gems, fossils to acquire awesome fashion clothes with individual stats for DK and Pauline, powerful singing voice of Pauline to unlock new paths, amazing ways to maneuver around the world with turf surfing on pieces of ground or over water, skill sets to detect nearby secrets, maps to collect in order to see where an object is hidden should they be super hard for you to get to, and wait a minute, let me stop myself right there. A map that shows you which items to collect, where to find them, keeps track of them for you, and gives you rewards for actually doing so? What the heck? Where was that in Mario Kart World? Why, Nintendo, why? Why not? As I was saying, even with all that, you still have tons of challenges to take on with some solo-based and regular DK that has you beat a specific amount of enemies in a time limit, racing to the end of the level in a minecart, or smashing down an entire building city layer by layer. Then they get even more challenging by offering a 3-banana stage where you must go through a challenge and find 3 separate Banandium gems. And what may seem easy on paper is actually pretty dang hard, because some are hidden to a point where you have to think outside the box just to be able to locate one. Or some are just so overly obvious that it makes you feel stupid for thinking too hard, just like me. One example of overthinking was playing a challenge mode that recreates the first level from Donkey Kong Country, and your objective is to find 3 bananas. Simple enough. However, after 30 minutes of looking, I couldn't find the dang third one until I remembered, wait, this is based off of the Super Nintendo level. It can't be, I said in my head as I got a light bulb moment on in my brain and went back to the beginning of the stage and did a rock double jump, only to find Donkey Kong's hut house with the missing third banana. Are you freaking kidding me? You know what, Eddie, you don't have to let me come back home. What are you gonna do?
Go for snow cone?
No!
Overall, at the end of the day, Donkey Kong Bonanza ended up an amazing time and one of the best platformer games I have played in recent memory, and if I had to rank it, I'd say it's even better than Mario Odyssey, if I put my Mario fangirl bias aside. While it's not perfect since it does have some wonky camera issues when you dig too far underground, making it hard to see where you're going, as well as a couple massive frame rate drops, mainly on the Void Kong fight, where we get a dip to what feels like 15 FPS. Still, even with those, there are more positives going for it by a long shot. Large open worlds where the only limits on how to get around it is your imagination that gives you deja vu of your first time in Breath of the Wild, tons of collectibles that give you actual incentives to want to collect them to do their rewards, great skill tree that will be unique to every player and how they build up their Kong, hundreds of Banandium gems, and fossils to find to keep you playing for hours on end to get more skill points and cosmetics, extremely fun challenge modes, all of which have a different mechanic than the last one, and no challenge repeats itself, which always allows for fresh and new ideas. Amazing boss fights like the minecart riding fight, where you throw bombs as you dodge hazards. Incredible level design that is tailor-made toward Donkey Kong's abilities and skill set to where no power-up or way of transportation ever feels outdated. Funny, charming, and energetic Pauline and her singing that becomes the heart of this narrative, with her being fully voice-acted, giving it a bit of an emotional depth that a majority of Nintendo games lack. Co-op mode with Joy-Cons that allow a second player to control Pauline to yell out words to destroy stuff with. It's just all so amazing and blends together at a masterful level. If people weren't satisfied with Mario Kart World as a launch title, then I sincerely doubt you'll be disappointed here with Donkey Kong Bonanza, because with a 20-hour story mode and over 50 hours of gameplay for completionists who want to collect everything in the game, there's really no reason not to pick this game up, especially if you want to play one of the most creative platformers ever to come out of the house of Nintendo. So with all that having been said, my verdict is clear. Game & Chick says bye now.